Hi, it's ChickenboneJohn here. As you may have noticed, I've not got a guitar with me, but I'm here to talk about this. These are fretboards. Pretty sort of boring thing, but this is a new material that we're going to be using. It's called Blackwood Tek, and it's very interesting as it's aimed at being a direct replacement for rosewood and ebony. And those people who may know a little bit about what's happening in the sort of musical instrument world, because of CITES and limits on tropical rainforest timbers, rosewood is very difficult to get hold of now, almost impossible to sell and import and export. Now for a while I've been using this black walnut, mainly from North America, but it's still getting knocked down at quite a rate, I would suspect. We make a lot of cigar box guitars and sell a lot of necks and parts and fretboards, so simply reclaiming and recycling old timber isn't always practical for us. We do use a lot of stuff that comes through our processes, like scraps of cherry wood and sapele, and use that as fretboards, but trying to get hold of hundreds if not thousands of pieces of timber and reclaiming and recycling it all isn't always possible. So black walnut's been a standby of ours for quite a long time, but this has been say a bit of an innovation for us getting hold of this material. Why is it special? It's softwood. It's Pinus radiata, which is the New Zealand pine, and it's plantation grown on a fairly quick cycle, so it is a renewable resource. It's basically farm timber, but this stuff is as dense, hard and strong as maple, rosewood, ebony, because it's compressed and it's got a sort of colouring in it that's through coloured. So I'm not sure of the technical way they do it. I suspect it's probably through something like an autoclaving it through heat and pressure, but it's I think it's mechanically compressed. So it's not a composite material. It's not mashed up wood glued together. It's a natural piece of timber, so that's been treated with colour and compressed. Even the actual sort of solvents and chemicals that they use in it are derived from pine sawdust. So it's a really interesting thing. It's FSC, Forest Stewardship Council, I think it stands for, certified. So all the materials and the products go into it is essentially a very green product. So if you want something that's going to compare with rosewood or ebony, this is the brown finish. They do a black, which is pretty much like ebony. This is the brown that's just had a coat of our own fretboard treatment, our sort of guitar elixir and fretboard salve, and you can see that's gone pretty dark. It's very comparable to rosewood now. We're going to be selling this in the variety of configurations that you can see here. From we've got it 45mm wide, so really for 3 and 4 string cigar boxes. We also do it in 70mm wide for full 6-string electric guitars or acoustic guitars, and we do it in just a blank, a fretless blank with a slot to take a 5mm machine screw, 25.5-inch scale, 25.5-inch with a slotted nut so you can put a machine screw in it, 23 and 3/4. We also do this, if you had to pick it up on here, which is 23 and 3/4 but set out with a diatonic scale like a dulcimer, which is great for so that's no wrong notes sort of thing. We've also got it as a plain full width, so that'll actually go up to a 12-string guitar, and we've also got that fretted in slotted in 25.5 and 24 and 3/4. So the main popular scales. So there you go. If you want, as I say, if you want a green alternative to traditional luthiers timbers, Greenwood Black Tek is the stuff. It's very interesting. It was developed by an Australian, professor at an Australian university at Melbourne, who'd worked in forestry for all his career and started up this company to bring this to the market to protect the sort of rainforests. As I say, we supply so many parts to makers and make so many guitars ourselves that actually recycling timber isn't always a practical alternative. And of course, with this stuff, if you're making guitars, it's the right thickness, it's uniform, it's not got any holes or cracks or splits in it. We can do it pre-slotted if you want. So there's a lot of the hard work taken out of making a guitar here, and we're going to start using this on our own guitars. We've already got a few trial guitars that we made, sold them, they're out in the market. Well, one of the great advantages of this, the moisture content is a consistent 5%, and it doesn't shrink like regular timber. We made two guitars, identical guitars, one with a Wenge fretboard, really nice hardwood, and one with the Blackwood Tek Fretboard. Left them for a few weeks, and a month or so later the edges of the frets had just started peeping out from the Wenge fretboard as it had dried and stabilised, because we often do that, let the thing settle and clean the ends of the projecting frets out. The Blackwood Tek fretboard wasn't affected in the least, so it's much more stable and more predictable than a naturally occurring timber, because it's basically, say it's manufactured. We looked at a few alternatives, and there's a few fairly big name manufacturers using this stuff, but you've probably heard that people like Gibson, I know what I'm thinking, yeah, Gibson is certainly used, and Martin are using the Richlite as fretboards and bridges. And I looked at this, but the product is basically it's Bakelite. It's a phenolic plastic laminated up with paper or wood pulp. So it's mainly a phenolic resin, and phenolic resins are notorious for their toxicity and gassing off nasty stuff. So you know, it's not a great choice. It's certainly not a green material. Yeah, it's not using up rosewood or whatever, but it's nasty stuff. Plus, you can't glue it with ordinary wood glues. This glues with regular wood glue. You can use whatever you want. You know, you either stick resin W, the sort of hot hide glue, or you know, the typical yellow glues that you use with for luthiery. So anything that you'd normally use to glue your guitar together, this will work with it. Yeah, there's other stuff coming onto the market, like Gibson. I think they're using, is it Pau Ferro? That, I'm sure that's going to become another tropical hardwood that's going to be difficult to get hold of. So, okie doke, that's enough. It's not a matter of being holier than thou or whatever. For us, it was a practical decision, and for you, if you're making guitars, it means you can buy a nice fretboard timber that you know is responsibly sourced. It's going to be stable, good to work with. So that's that. Bye for now.